We've all heard of, or at least seen movies where the whole town or city is invaded by zombies or aliens, or both, and the only way for human survival is to stay out of sight and fight to stay alive for as long as you can. That means food, water, electricity, communication, and all. Now, let's imagine that scenario, but this time, let's make it even more realistic and say you, yes you, were lucky enough to run into a grocery store and immediately shut the doors behind you. How long could you survive being locked up in there? Let's answer this question with the facts. Assessing your resources. Okay, first things first, you must take everything, that is edible of course, into consideration. So let's talk about the sheer volume in an average grocery store. We're talking mountains of cereal boxes, oceans of canned foods, pastries, fruits, and vegetables. The typical grocery store is stocked with enough food to feed a small village for weeks, if not months. In fact, the average supermarket in the US carries between 35,000 to 50,000 different food options, and according to Food Market Industry, the size of an average grocery store, as of recent years, is between 48,000 to 52,000 square feet. If you were actually locked in here, you'd have quite the luxury to choose from. From deli meats to dairy, fruits to frozen pizzas, and more. You'd be literally living the dream. For a while, understanding that food spoilage is a thing. It's easy to get carried away here with the different array of food options, but remember, this is about survival and not a solo date on the beach. So what should your first instinct be? Categorize and prioritize. Categorize the food items based on their shelf life and nutritional value. Start with the perishables like fruits, vegetables, salads, and pastries. Then sort out the overripe from the ripe, the fresh from the not so fresh. Then you've got dairy foods like milk, cheese, and yogurt. They have more staying power than the fresh produce, but they are not immortal. So get your dairy game plan in order. Consume the items with the closest expiry date first, and save the long-lasting options for later. Now, talking about long-lasting options, there are the real MVPs of your survival attempt, the non-perishables. Canned foods such as soups, veggies, meat, fish, tomatoes, and beans. Don't forget your nuts too. They are high in protein and healthy fats, which makes them an excellent source of long-lasting energy. So grab some almonds, cashews, or walnuts and stash them away for when you need a power boost. Then you have the dried foods. They are sweet, chewy, and packed with vitamins. Plus, they won't go bad anytime soon. We're talking about raisins, apricots, cranberries, dates, potato chips, mango slices, figs, pineapple chunks, and coconut flakes. They are your secret weapons for snack time blues and for when the shelves slowly become empty. Now, by systematically tackling the aisles and prioritizing your resources, you're setting yourself up for a solid survival strategy. And who knows, you could make do with the resources for the next 2, 3, 4, or even 5 years. But let's talk about power outages. What if the universe decides to say, let's crank up the difficulty level a bit higher, and the power is out for good? Then it's time to get creative. Seek out spots in the store that naturally stay cooler. Also, consider consolidating your food supplies. Group similar items together and insulate them with blankets or clothing. This DIY cooler will buy you some extra time. And don't forget to mark your calendar with those expiration dates, because time flies when you're in survival mode. Another pro tip, use plastic bags to seal open packages. This not only keeps pests at bay, but also helps slow down the spoilage clock. Counting calories. We're not asking you to turn yourself into a human calculator, but a basic understanding of your calorie need is crucial here. On average, an adult requires about 2,000 to 2,500 calories for their daily activities. And guess what? In this grocery store lock-in, you're not lounging on the couch. You're navigating aisles, planning meals, and staying alert. So, since this is about survival, let's round it up and say you're looking at the 2,000 mark. That's your goal. Now, meet your survival squad. First, protein. It's not just about living for each day. It's about repairing worn-out tissues and keeping you full of energy. Canned beans, nuts, and preserved meats are your ride-or-die crew here. They pack the protein punch you need to face each day. Next up, we've got the complex carbs. Whole grains, legumes, and some cereals are your reliable partners. And no, this isn't an invitation to go carb crazy. It's about mixing them with your protein sources for a tag team of sustained energy. Water is just as important. The average person can survive for up to 3 weeks without food. Not that we'd recommend it. But without water, you're looking at just a few days. So don't let those water bottles become trophies. Consume them wisely and make every drop count. Now, you might be thinking, water is everywhere, right? Well, yes and no. Yes, because water is technically everywhere, but in a grocery store, that cannot really be said. Why? Because it's mostly packaged, bottled, and ready to go. So it won't last you long enough. However, there is a way to manage it. But first, let's start with a fun fact. Did you know that the average adult loses about 2.5 liters, or roughly 84 ounces of water a day? That's through sweat, urine, and even breathing. So those bottles, they're like your personal liquid gold mines. All right, let's talk strategy. If you've got limited water and an uncertain timeline, rationing is the name of the game. Aim for sips, not gulps, and you'd be surprised how far a little can go when you're deliberate about it. Also, the average adult requires about 2 liters of water per day. So you'd want to consume not 2 less than and not 2 more than 2 liters. But what happens when you eventually run out of water? Well, it's simple. You're gonna die. No, don't freak out, of course. It's just a joke. But literally, you could die out of thirst. But the good thing is that you're in a grocery store. So there are always other options when you get low on water. It's raining zombies outside those doors, so you know you're in there for a long haul. So what's the easiest option for restocking on water? Mother Nature. Get creative and get containers to collect rainwater from the store windows. At least let's hope there's going to be rain during this period. And if there isn't, we'll move to Plan B, juice boxes. You might scoff at the juice aisle, dismissing it as kid stuff, but those juice boxes are packed with liquid sustenance. Look for 100% fruit juice options, as they offer hydration, plus a boost of vitamins and minerals. If you're also lucky enough to find a coconut or two in the store, count your blessings. Coconut water is a natural electrolyte-rich beverage, perfect for rehydrating. It's like Mother Nature's Gatorade, but without the neon colors. Establishing a routine. All right, let's dive a little deeper into this whole routine thing. You might be thinking, hey, I'm not training for a marathon, I'm just trying to survive in a grocery store. Well, hold on to your hats because a routine is your best friend in this situation. So, start your day with planning your meals for the entire day. And this includes snacks too. But it isn't a free pass to the candy aisle. Snacks should be a part of your routine too. A handful of nuts here, a piece of dried fruit there, keeps your energy levels stable between meals. Oh, and don't forget about sleep. Yes, even in a grocery store, your body needs its rest. Find a comfortable spot, preferably away from any potential hazards, and catch those Z's. It's not the Ritz, but it'll do. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Boredom. Being stuck in a grocery store isn't exactly a thrill a minute. So, read labels, plan meals, create a makeshift calendar. Keep your mind engaged. It's not just about physical survival, it's about staying mentally alert too. Answering the question. Now, to the ultimate question, how long could you survive being locked in a grocery store? We've been able to analyze the facts so far, and based on those, one could be able to survive only on the available resources in a grocery store for approximately 18 months. That is, considering the amount of food spoilage, power outage, and lack of water supply.